Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Coding. In this episode, I want to show you kind of like a breakdown of this setup that I'm making. So basically, you can see a bunch of it's like a pile of dough, or maybe it is like a Turkish bread or a pizza, whatever. Uh, this is like a random shapes, right? Uh, this is being generated using geometry nodes. But what's actually going on over here is kind of interesting, right? I can duplicate this guy, and I can continue generating these weird shapes, kind of like a displaced mesh, but the grid is very clean. How can we create this using geometry nodes? In a simple way, you can't really do that because we are missing a Gridify node. Gridify is like in Houdini, there's a Gridify nodes where you can have a shapes, and then you make like a slice or cut procedurally using that simple node. You can kind of simulate it using SVerchok. So we need SVerchok to do this. So where is the SVerchok? So okay, let me explain the setup. So first of all, we have these random shapes of curve, right? And then it's already been filled. So this is being generated using geometry nodes. As you can see, the noise is making random shapes. Let's actually take a look at the shapes itself. It's very simple. Okay, first of all, it's a curve circle, and then I can resample the curve circle, and I use set position and noise with it's a normalized noise, and we can use scale to control the noise, but we don't need that at the moment. And I actually do it twice. This is the second time using another noise, so I just do another resample, so just to generate random shapes. So every frame the noise is being pushed in 4D dimension, and yeah, and then we fill the curve using n-gons, not triangles but n-gon, and the rest of them we don't really need it. We only need the output of that, so we can actually delete this. The output of this mesh is a simple objects, and the next thing I do is to have these SVerchok nodes. As you already know, I use this add-on a lot. So I grab this output of the output of geometry nodes and set it to pos modifier, and then I use this setup in SVerchok just to quickly gridify and output the result. So this is actually the result from SVerchok. From SVerchok, we can actually do another geometry nodes and to modify and displace these objects over here. So let me delete the rest of them. We don't need them for now. So this pancake that has been sliced and gridified is actually coming from SVerchok. I can actually control the grid that's generating the output of this. So it's really quite powerful. You can see I can really control the cut. Okay, let's make it 20 by 20. The setup looks like this in SVerchok, and I just move it to the side. This is and then I actually have another geometry node that's displacing the surface of these objects, and then solidify just to make it thick. It's kind of, yeah, it looks like a plate of an island. It's also looking like a dough, of a pizza or Turkish bread. Can be anything, you can always sculpt. I just have to do this every time. It's kind of interesting. Oh, it's actually floating now. Interesting. That's because I haven't applied this. I need to convert to mesh and then sculpt and then just inflate it. Okay. Anyway, not related. So this guy over here, I can duplicate. If I like the shapes, duplicate, I get the shapes, right? Because each of them will have geometry nodes and the shapes itself can still be controlled using displacement. But the setup is here inside SVerchok. This actually does the Gridify for us. You need SVerchok add-on to do this, but the whole process can be streamlined because this is only like a once-off process. Once you do this, you can then perform geometry nodes, like extra geometry nodes further. Let's take a look at the other geometry nodes. Oh, we need to select these nodes. You can see this is another displacement using noise. Geometry, set position, set shade smooth, all the fancy stuff. You can also, you set position. Use the position, vector position of itself, separate it by x, y, z, and then maybe use the x or y and math just to displace this. So this is the pancake flat. We can combine x, y, z. This could be like a modulo or ping pong. So the x, use the x to displace the z, right? All the fancy stuff you can do. So you have this kind of wavy pancake, but really the secret is the SVerchok nodes. That's kind of pancake in between geometry nodes. So this is the SVerchok nodes. There are many ways to do this. Okay, this is the post from May 21. Brickify or Gridify, actually, how to Gridify this. There is actually a couple of methods, like this one from Durman. N-gon and plane combined together. So the plane is being cropped using N-gon, and we can have this shape generated. This is faster method, only using 2 nodes you get these shapes, which is pretty cool as well. The other node is this one recommended by Zevi, this node setup in SVerchok, basically combining N-gon and plane, merge it, but mask the rest of them and delete the rest of them while it's cropping the mesh. So if you were to do this using just SVerchok, crop to the mesh, N-gon. So N-gon is super handy. Grid plane. Oh, this one on the top, this one at the bottom, and you're gonna have a shape where it's being cropped by the plane. Center, yeah. See, you can move this to the side. This is the N-gon. We can randomize the N-gon. We can center this guy, make division, and we get the shape. Randomize the seed. So this is the SVerchok doing its magic, and you can of course apply geometry nodes into this guy. displace. See, we still have the result. Pretty powerful. Solidify. Solidify. Usually solidify thickness is based on the normal. You can also set it there are other options here with the complex. Anyhow, we don't need this. So that's the pancake method and the Gridify using plane. The plane, the plane is already like this grid, and the grid we can crop using the n-gon. As long you can actually randomize it. I think randomize. So you can randomize the plane grid, but making sure it's still planar, so you can really have a kind of like a more random topology of the plane that you can displace later. Maybe merge by distance is also interesting. So merge by distance, and this one, let's make it 50 by 50. Merge by distance 0.2. Or after we randomize, maybe merge it. This one. Oh, it fails. Nah, see, the topology is random, and then we also randomize it, displacing it using geometry nodes. But in this case, we can have a crop shape. So arbitrary shapes cropping randomized plane, and so as long this doesn't go red, we actually can have these arbitrary shapes, and then we can actually perform geometry nodes on top of this. Geometry nodes. So extrude, mesh, scale elements, scale just the top part. There you go. Right? It's pretty cool. Elements, duplicate elements, scale. Can we offset? Yes. Random value, plug into the offset scale. There you go. So yeah, so I went all over the place, but basically SVerchok add-on, that particular setup can create a arbitrary mesh cutter. So I think this setup is also working quite well. So the shapes can come from geometry nodes, and then you just merge it with a plane where you set up the grid. So as a result, you get this there. Make sure the grid is actually cutting the shapes. It needs to be at the right place. So this is the grid. The size of the grid will control the cutter, the topology underneath. Okay, so simple. It's really quite simple, but it's really powerful. Now we can have all kind of plates. Once you have this, you can do whatever with it. Right click, convert to mesh, and go to sculpt. Just sculpt. Yeah, it works on the it works on the whatever you selected the last. There. It looks like some kind of snake, some kind of snacks, you know. And I like it puff like that. Sometimes, so yeah, it looks like a little bit like Turkish bread as well, or pizza. But anyhow, that's the whole process. That's the Gridify. I will give you the link to this page. Have a read. This is actually quite useful. I realize it's 4 years already since I last asked this question at SVerchok forum, but still pretty useful. And geometry nodes really need these nodes as well. So give it a try yourself. Let's see if there is a limitation or anything like that. But so far it's working really well. Just have a simple shapes that is planar, and the grid can be cropped into that shapes, and we have this ability to have a topology on that surface. All right, so thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.